It's crazy all the shit that we see, what we ingest, what we read, what we learn from TV. I feel sick, so sick, yeah, sick as can be. You gon' chase what you want, it better provide what you need, huh?
I just wanna make sure you hear me, and I don't want you to get shot up like the 11-month-old baby. But I'm not gonna say rest in peace, baby girl. I'm gonna say get well soon, and may you recover with candy and sweet treats. You don't deserve to get shot in these mean streets, and the streets are cold, and it's the belly of the beast. I'm in the emergency room, Jacoby, where the shots fired, and across town, the people died from a building fire, and the 2 cops got hit up, and now they're expired, and they want me to pay $12 for orange juice that's expired. A deranged man pushed a lady on the train tracks. I wish I was lying, but I'm spitting raw facts. I'm trying to get my client off drugs in his living room, and outside all you hear is a 21-gun salute. So I run down the stairs and 2 guards are arguing who's gonna kill who. The shell cases on the ground serve as proof. The old lady with the baby carriage and the dog in it, she cursing me out cause she thinks I'm trying to get her evicted. And truth be told, she's a paranoid schizophrenic who performs fellatio for the latest Montclair jacket.
It's crazy all the shit that we see, what we ingest, what we read, what we learn from TV. I feel sick, so sick, yeah, sick as can be. You gon' chase what you want, it better provide what you need, huh? It's crazy all the shit that we see, what we ingest, what we read, what we learn from TV. I feel sick, so sick, yeah, sick as can be. You gon' chase what you want, it better provide what you need, huh? Yeah, excuse me, is this thing on? Shout out to Crypto Wonder, aka Wackler Effects. League in the building. We outside, and we inside. Alright. This is something special about me, man. I don't know what it is. Something about me. Since young, what I've said, set in stone. I'm alone in the forest, got katanas like Michonne. Life unfolds, truth be told, I've shown I'm heir to the throne. But with so much going on, you can't tell me that nothing's wrong. I'm in a mood, fuck the news, nothing's new, the world's screwed. People feud, in the end we all lose. It's dog eat dog, and dog y'all food. Everybody dogging each other, cause that's what dogs do. I put a dog down like the earth under my shoes. When I walk, I'm the reason that the earth move. On cue, my perception correcting your worldview. I'm up next, I'm not stressed, I'm blessed to tell you the truth. It's crazy all the shit that we see, what we ingest, what we read, what we learn from TV. I feel sick, so sick, yeah, sick as can be. You gon' chase what you want, it better provide what you need, huh? It's crazy all the shit that we see, what we ingest, what we read, what we learn from TV. Feel sick, so sick, yeah, sick as can be. You gon' chase what you want, it better provide what you need, huh? It's crazy all the shit that we see. It's crazy all the shit that we see.
What's going on, everybody? It's the Crypto Wonder, your host of the Crypto Wonder podcast. Hope you're doing well. Let's get right into it. I got allergies. It's allergy season. So if I sound a little nasal, you already know. Now, I think the grand finale with Pulse is this whole anticipation, the whole waiting for a year if you sacrificed, if you're like a day one OG sacrificer. These terms that people create, boy, I tell you. I think it's, everybody, not everybody, but so many people are sort of keeping attuned to the bear market and everything the bear market brings, the misery and the slow bleed, and everyone is just, not everyone, I keep saying everyone, but generally speaking, the sentiment is just low and all of that. But nah, I'm not buying into it. Not for one bit. I'm not buying into this idea that, everything is doom and gloom. I'm not. The world is already upside down right now, depending on where you live. And it's just it's all a mess. But I always have to remember, after every storm, when the clouds clear, you have the sun shining. So I'm always going to err on the side of the good. Appreciate all the good things that happen. It's easy to complain about, so much that we forget what we do have. We often, we will moan about, things are too expensive, cost of living is so high. What's the government doing? What are the elitists doing? Look at these problems that's going on, geopolitical issues, wars and gas and food, and everything is just inflation, blah, blah, blah. What do you think that does to you? That wears you out. That affects your psyche. That brings you down. It makes you miserable. Who wants to remain in a constant state of misery? And then if you're in crypto and you're waiting for Pulsechain, all of that negativity, or as far as like the way it just compounds itself, and you end up, in a very bleak sort of like position mentally. Why live in that state? See, this is one of the reasons why I kind of like even slowed down on the content creation that I've been doing, because I've been having a hard time trying to say the same thing over and over again differently. How do you keep saying the same thing over again and be creative, and do it different? It's like, yeah, whatever, but it doesn't take anything away from the fact that, like, for whatever it's worth, I mean, I'm not anybody. I'm just an outsider looking in a sense. I'll wait, continue to wait, and see what Pulsechain does. I mean, I really believe it's ready to launch. Irrespective of whatever you hear and see, I think Richard is creating something right now by way of attracting the most attention he can get. Because we're approaching the grand finale. Like the conclusion is coming to a close for the grand opening. The grand opening of the Pulsechain mainnet launch. Someone said the other day that there's this term called, instead of hopium, copium, where people try to find different ways to cope, coping mechanisms to deal with stress. I don't know, maybe I'm using that right now, but that's neither here nor there. And I mean, I don't read code, right? But I try to go through the GitLab, the Pulsechain GitLab, to see what's there, right? It's part of doing your research and perusing through and stuff like that. And I really do think this thing is ready. And just like I thought in the very beginning, Richard was a magician. He's applying what he knows best to attract the most attention he could attract, because he knows in his heart of hearts, pun intended, that Pulsechain is going to do something that the crypto community has never seen before. At large, when you have the likes of, BitBoy Crypto, now sounding like he's sort of become maybe more aware of the gatekeeping that's been going on. I hear him talking more favorably about Hex, even though he's still in my, I don't really trust, wholeheartedly what BitBoy's doing, and because people, especially in crypto, they always show you that they have ulterior motives, and usually 9 times out of 10 is to fulfill and satisfy their own needs. You know what I'm saying? But when you have someone like him who has 1.4 million subscribers, and he's talking about going after gatekeepers, yeah, there's some progress, albeit slow, but there's some progress. And I don't think it's too late to have people sort of like see the light in a way, convert, see the light, whatever you want to call it. But I really do think this thing is ready to launch. All this extra talk about Golang or, merge and, rewriting the code and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. Look, man, Richard is showing you that it doesn't even matter. Like the whole thing about the SEC, that whole crazy thing with the SEC and how in order for something to not be determined as a security, you can't really have any expectations of profit from the work of others. That's how he's living. He's going hard to show you, number one, look at him, look at what he got going on, and number two, he's living life, and number three, you should do the same and not worry about expecting anything from a sacrifice that you've made. It's very difficult, don't get me wrong. It's very, very difficult. But these are teaching moments for whatever they're worth. Because let's say it's easy to say that, this is all a scam, right? It's easy to say that's, folks, it's easier to give up and to just pretty much throw your hands in the air and say, you know what, whatever, it's not coming out, blah, blah, blah. And it's harder to stick it out. And when you realize it's through that hard work, just the consistent discipline, determination, basically your attitude is what counts. And I'm telling you, once Pulsechain launches, people is going to melt faces. And I'm not saying it's going to happen right away, because there may be a great deal of volatility that takes place. People are going to sell, they're mad, they've been holding on for so long, they want to make their ROI and then leave the community altogether, blah, blah, blah. But a year or two from the point that Pulsechain mainnet launches, you got to kind of zoom out, people, because that's what's happened with the previous blockchains. Over time, they have brought maximum gains to all the holders, all the people who've held through. Welcome to crypto. Welcome to crypto.